Hey everybody, this is Jeffrey Jansen. This is the third video today. This is The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson, Chapter 3. Like I told everybody, I do these, spread these out for those that want to listen can. Everybody likes different books, but we are on Chapter 3 of The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson. Ordinary meets bullies in the borderland. Okay? This one is Ordinaries Meet Bullies in the Borderland. Chapter 3, The Dream Giver, adult version. Okay? Ordinary meets bullies in the dreamland. Not far past the sign, Ordinary's path sloped. Downward ahead, he saw the wide waters and the bridge to the unknown. Between him and the bridge lay the borderland, an open stretch of flat ground. Ordinary was surprised to see, standing in the middle of the borderland, a few nobodies from Familiar. One of the nobodies, who looked more familiar than most, was hurrying towards him. It was his mother. She rushed up and threw her arms around Ordinary. "Oh, Ordinary," she cried, "my baby, thank goodness we got here in time." "But how did you get here so fast?" he asked. "When you're not really leaving Familiar," she said. "You don't have to break through all these dreadful discomfort." "But why are you here?" "You mustn't go on," she said. "I was so alarmed when I heard you were leaving Familiar. I know you told us that you were, but I never thought you would. Honestly, what are you thinking? It's not safe. You could get hurt. You could even die." "But it's my big dream, Mother," said Ordinary. "It's a wonderful dream, and I want to pursue it." He tried to reassure his mother. He told her that as big dreams go, his was only a little life-threatening. But this seemed to alarm his mother more than ever. As they walked across the borderland, Ordinary spotted his uncle and best friend. Ordinary's uncle strode up first. "So you decide to become a dreamer," he said accusingly. "Do you realize that you are going completely against every tradition in this family? Why should you become a somebody when the rest of us have always been happy being nobodies?" Before Ordinary could reply, best friend stepped in. "I was worried before, Ordinary," he said gravely, "but the more I thought about it, the more convinced I am that you can't succeed at this. I can't stand by and watch you go down in defeat." Ordinary was speechless and bewildered. He heard a rumor about border bullies, but he had supposed that if it were true, bullies would be nobodies he didn't know. He never imagined they'd be some of the nobodies who knew him best. Now his mother, uncle, and best friend all stood silent before him, blocking his view of the bridge to his big dream. How would he ever get past them? Should he even try? He needed time to think. He asked his bullies to wait for him. Then he walked alone down the river's edge, where he sat on a large rock, looking out over the wide waters. Ordinary thought and thought. He thought until he began to think that maybe his bullies were right. Maybe he was wrong to pursue his dream. Then Ordinary heard a voice call his name. When he turned to see who it was, he recognized a somebody. It was Champion, an old friend from Familiar who used to be a nobody. "Champion," he explained, "what are you doing here?" Champion sat down on the rock beside him. "When I heard you had become a dreamer, I just had to come," he said. "I knew you'd need help." "Thanks, Ordinary," with a heavy sigh. "But didn't you see all my bullies?" "I saw them," said Champion. "They're bullies." "All right. But think of me as your border buster. I want to help you break through their opposition." Then Champion helped Ordinary understand what was happening. "Your mother, uncle, and best friend are only doing what's natural," he said. "When you left your comfort zone, you really shook up theirs. Each of them has something to lose if you go forward." "That makes sense," said Ordinary. "But what do I do now? How do I get all my bullies on my side?" "Well, you might not be able to do so. Wisdom is the key. Try to understand what's motivating them. Look for the merit of their concerns. Some bullies you need to simply dismiss or avoid. But most border bullies have concerns that can help you clarify your plans. That's how a dreamer turns opposition into opportunity." When Champion stood to leave, he said, "Hold fast to your dream, Ordinary. You're going to be a somebody someday. I just know it." Then he shook Ordinary's hand and jumped down from the rock. Remember, he said, when bullies try to block your way, what matters most is who you choose to please. Ordinary thought about Champion's parting words. He decided it was time to talk to his bullies again. As the sun began to set, he walked back and forth along the water's edge, talking with them. He told them more about his dream. He learned from their concerns. Then he told them he had decided to pursue his dream into the unknown. By sundown, Ordinary was ready to cross the border. As Mother handed him his suitcase, he saw tears in her eyes. I've changed my mind. I want you to pursue your dream, she said. Your father will be so proud of you. I think he wishes he had taken the same journey years ago. Then she hugged him goodbye. Ordinary shook hands with his best friend and his uncle, who still did not look pleased. While the three watched, he walked toward the bridge over the wide waters. In the gathering dusk, Ordinary had failed to notice that another nobody stood on the bridge. But this nobody was not just any nobody. He was the landlord of Familiar. He is the one who decided what was right for the nobodies. He owned every inch of the land. He even owned the bridge. I am denying you access to my bridge, he said. But why? Asked Ordinary. Because I need every nobody to stay in Familiar at their usual job, said the landlord. I won't lose any more nobodies to the silly notion of dreams. I will not let you go. Ordinary tried hard not to panic. Wisdom told him that antagonist, like the landlord, was the worst kind of bully. He had a lot to lose, and he didn't care about the ordinary. What should he do now? What could he do? Then Ordinary remembered Champion's parting words, and that's when he decided to swim. He knew he might not make it. The wide waters were very wide, and he wasn't a very strong swimmer. But he had to try. While his bullies looked on, Ordinary walked down to the wide waters. He was about to step in when something caught his eye. A small boat was moored nearby. When he got closer, Ordinary saw a note on the seat of the boat. He picked it up and it read, Ordinary, if you found this boat, I know you've chosen to please the dream giver. Enjoy a dry crossing. Your dream is waiting for you in the land of promise. I promise, Champion. Ordinary untied the boat, stowed his suitcase in the front of the boat, and shoved off. As he rowed out into the wide waters, Ordinary watched his border bullies grow smaller and smaller. When he was sure that he had finally really left Familiar, he waved his last goodbyes to the nobodies on the shore. But by then, it was too dark to tell if they waved back. That very night, before he went to sleep in the tall, dry grass on the other side of the waters, Ordinary used his feather again to write in his journal. I met bullies at the borderland. They were nobodies I knew. When I felt Familiar, it upset the comfort zone of those close to me. They felt like they were losing something important. Even though my bullies tried to stop me, some of their concerns will help me. I couldn't sway all my bullies in the end. I had to decide who I would please. I chose to please the dream giver. Alright. Next will be chapter 4. We'll read that tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. You guys, I know something before I get out. I want to show you guys something. You guys mind looking at something real quick? Since we just talked about crossing big waters, I want to show you guys all something, okay? Here, I'm getting out right now. I want to show you guys something. Showed everybody the river.